Hello and welcome to week 7, our final unit for the class, unit 4, the final reflection, essay, and discussion. I still cannot believe it is the end of the class already. It just feels like yesterday we just started working on our essays and our ideas and our readings. I've been so impressed with the discussion points you guys have had in this class so far, in your essays. You guys have really come a long way. Some of you, I remember in the beginning of the class, were really nervous about the readings, the discussions, and the essays, but I think you guys have done a great job using the feedback that I've given you in order to improve your writing and your discussions even more. So you should be very proud of yourselves, and you're going to get a chance to reflect on that a little bit with your final reflection essay. So if we take a look at the syllabus for this week, week 7, April 26th through May 2nd, we are just now starting on our final reflection essay and discussion. Go ahead and start with the lesson that I've posted for you in ULearn. Also, this week you have a week 7 discussion. Remember to post your initial thoughts by Wednesday and your responses by Sunday. This will help us to keep the discussion going. And in order to get full credit, you must respond to at least one other person. Let's see. If you would like to revise an essay, it's optional, but I'd like you to talk about that in your reflection essay. What did you revise? How did you revise it? Why did you revise it? If you would like to revise an essay, just let me know. Send me an email and say, hey, would it be okay if I revise this essay or that essay? And that way I can kind of give you some pointers as far as how to kind of tackle that. A lot of times students will want to revise the first essay. Now that they've had a little bit more experience with the writing process for the class, they say, oh my gosh, I've learned so much. I want to go back and revise the first essay. Be sure to look at the feedback that I gave you, and you can find that right in ULearn. You click on the assignment and you'll be able to click on your essay and the feedback right in there. Also this week, start on your draft for the final reflection. And that way you can kind of get going with that a little bit. In the lesson, I'll show you in just a second, you'll see lots of great resources. Resources from other universities, from YouTube videos, as well as some questions to help you get started. And then next week will be our final week, May 3rd through the 6th. This is where you're wrapping up that final reflection essay, which is due by May 5th. Make sure you review that information in the lesson again, and make sure that you have completed all of those steps in the lesson, such as the discussion and the final check-in. As always, contact me if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help and guide you in the right direction. The last thing that you will complete is the final check-in assignment, which is due by May 6th. This is going to take the place of what a normal discussion would take the place, or excuse me, we would work with during this final week, similar to what we did during the midterm. So you will, when you access the final check-in, you'll see that you can email me, you can put in a Word document right there in that final check-in, or you can set up a video or phone call with me to check in. Whatever works best for you. So that's due by May 6th. So you've got a couple of different deadlines. And as always, keep track of those deadlines in your syllabus. Now, if we go back, let me share my other screen with you. All right. So here we are at the final reflection unit. It's the final unit for our course. The lesson itself, if you go ahead and click on that, you'll see lots of different resources in there, but I've also posted some of the assignments down here too. So you can get quick access to those. You don't have to go all the way through the lesson again to access the essay description and submission, the final reflection rubric. Make sure you do read through that, and the final check-in. One thing about the final reflection essay I do like to point out is that it is still an essay. Now, if you look at the description, it's a shorter essay, sometimes 1 to 2 pages, depending on the student and how concise he or she writes. But feel free to take a little bit more than just 2 pages. Oftentimes students write 3, 4, or 5 pages because they have so much to reflect on with their reading, writing, critical thinking, and writing process even. So feel free to elaborate on that a little bit more. For this essay, you will use first person point of view. So you can say, I learned, we worked with, that kind of thing. I know that sounds a little bit funny after we've been working with third person point of view, but hopefully it'll be a nice little break for you to reflect on your ideas. And that's the point of the final reflection essay. I do want you to think about what you learned. I want you to reflect on how far you've come in your progress this semester. Even though it was only an 8-week class, I think we've covered quite a bit. So it is still an essay. Make sure you begin with an introduction, a thesis, and body paragraphs and a conclusion. That thesis is going to be similar to other thesis statements where you have your ideas, your claim, and some direction for your main point. So for example, you might say, during this short semester, I was able to learn a lot about myself as a writer, a reader, and a critical thinker. So that tells me in your first point, you're going to talk about your writing. The second point is going to be about reading. And the third point is going to be about your critical thinking skills. I hope that makes sense. If you do have any questions, please let me know. All of the information that you need is housed within the lesson, but again, I put it in here for you for a quick link to the discussion, the check-in, the essay, all that good stuff. I hope you enjoy the final reflection essay. I really enjoy reading them. It's one of my favorite things to read. And you know, there's lots of things you can reflect on. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'm always happy to help. Enjoy the process, enjoy the rest of the class, and I will see you in the discussion.